Then on Sports Central, we go over March Madness game preview and prediction on the round of 64 matchup between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Loyola-Chicago Ramblers. Definitely an interesting matchup coming up here in the round of 64. You got Ohio State who's 19-11 heading into the tournament and also a 7 seed. And if you remember back to 2021, this team was a 2 seed in last year's tournament. Turns out they lost to a 15 seed in the first round. So the Buckeyes are coming into this tournament hoping for redemption. But first, they got to get past Loyola-Chicago, who is a very dangerous team in the tournament, as we've learned from years past. They're 25-7 heading into March Madness, and they're a 10 seed in the tournament. So definitely an interesting matchup coming up here in the first round. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Ohio State 19-11 once again. Overall been a good season for the Buckeyes. Not quite as good as you could say 2021's regular season was, but they were 12-8 in conference and 4-3 in games against the top 25. So, Ohio State, they've had some definitely some promising performances over the course of the season, but this team has been very inconsistent. And if you look at their previous 5 games down the stretch, they lost some bad games. They lost to Nebraska by 8 at home, lost to Maryland by 15, and they also lost to Michigan and Penn State. But if you look in the middle there, they did beat Michigan State by 11. So Ohio State, they've had some good performances over the course of the season, but they have been inconsistent, and that is definitely a concern heading into the tournament, which is, March Madness is a tournament where, you make one slip up and you're out of the tournament. So for Ohio State, they got to be consistent here, and if they can get hot, this is a team that's got talent to make a deep run. And Loyola-Chicago, 25-7 overall, 13-5 against their conference, and then they're 0-1 in games against the top 25. So Loyola-Chicago hasn't played as difficult of a schedule as Ohio State has, that is for sure. Their conference isn't anywhere near as difficult as the Big Ten, but this team was definitely one of the top teams in the Missouri Valley. So that's definitely what they got going for them. But Loyola-Chicago in general, this is a team that was in the Sweet 16 last year, and if you remember, they had that Final Four run a few years back. Loyola-Chicago has been very successful in the NCAA tournaments. That's huge for them. And honestly, this is pretty much a coin toss. And if you look at the spread, the spread is even for this game. It has not moved, and rightfully so. You got two teams that have got definitely positives to both sides. And it's tough to pick. Definitely one of the toughest first round games to pick on this March Madness. You got, and this game is on Friday, March 18th, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tip-off is 12:15 p.m. Eastern, so I think it's the first tip-off of Friday. And once again, your spread is even. Over-under 132.5, so not terribly high. And your BPI is going Ohio State 51.5%. So, it is incredibly close, and that's pretty expected. You got two good basketball teams, that's for sure. And even though Loyola-Chicago is a 10 seed, we know how successful that they have been in the tournament in the past. So, series history, Ohio State leads at 4-0. Last game was in 2006, so it's been a while when Ohio State won that game by 12. Here's stat comparison. Ohio State 73.8 points a game. They allow 68.5, and their BPI rank is 23. And if you compare that with Loyola-Chicago, the Ramblers got 73.8 points a game, 61.7 points allowed, and their BPI rank is slightly below Ohio State at 25. So, both teams, once again, incredibly close, and it's not surprising to see that. Some notable matchups as well. Ohio State, they did beat Duke back in the season by 5. They lost to Purdue by 3. They were 1-1 against Wisconsin. They did beat Illinois and Michigan State. So, this team has played, they've had some impressive performances, and I said that before, but it is true. This team has had some terrible performances, that's for sure, but at the same time, they definitely have some promising and very impressive ones as well. And if you look at Loyola-Chicago, they haven't played too many extremely talented teams. Auburn's the best team that they have played. They lost to them by 9. Lost to Michigan State by 2. They played them as well. Beat San Francisco by 5. So that's the one team in the tournament that they have beaten. Beat Arizona State back then by 18 and beat Bradley twice. They were 2-1 against Bradley. So obviously Ohio State does have the stronger resume here. When it comes down to it, I'll say this once again, the Ramblers have been incredibly successful in March Madness. So, that's huge. If you're a successful team in the past, there's definitely reason to believe that that's going to continue. Some key points for this one: Ohio State 19-11. Team's got a shot at redemption. I think this is a team that I think a lot of people are sleeping on here going into the tournament. I understand they're a 7 seed and they're facing off against a team that's definitely picked a decent amount to beat them. But Ohio State, this team has got a shot at redemption after 2021. I can guarantee you they are not happy with how 2021 went. They lost in the first round as the 2 seed. So, I mean, Ohio State, they've got a shot here to definitely redeem themselves. I think this is a team that's got enough experience to definitely potentially make a run. And, I mean, they're bracketed. I mean, this is a tough game for sure, and it's a tough draw for sure for the first round. But Ohio State, this team is definitely keep an eye on them. They're a team that, I mean, if you're making some brackets, I would definitely put Ohio State as a deep run in at least 1 or 2 of them. I mean, this team could definitely make a run at the Final Four. And I'm serious when I say that. I think Ohio State, this is a team that has got a legit shot at redemption this season. E.J. Liddell, he's going to have a significant influence on this team over the course. He has all season, but especially in this tournament, he's going to be highly impactful. And I think for Loyola-Chicago, that's going to be huge, is shutting him down. And I mean, he's the leader on this team, and he's put up nearly 20 points a game, which is incredible. And he leads this team in rebounds as well. So I mean, he's definitely a major impact player for this team. And Ohio State, they've had several impressive performances despite being inconsistent. And for Loyola-Chicago, team is dangerous. They have always been in the March Madness tournament. Well, actually, over the past 2 times that they've been in the tournament, they've been definitely contenders. So they've been consistent over the course of the season. They've been impressive at times too, despite not playing a very strong schedule. And they've got a large amount of experience too. So you got 2 experienced basketball teams here, kind of in different situations, but definitely an intriguing matchup. That's it. Let's get to the prediction here for Ohio State and Loyola-Chicago. I'm going to go Buckeyes here. 68-65 is my predicted final score. And this is as tough as it gets in this tournament for the first round. That's for sure. I mean, it could easily go either way, pretty much a coin toss. But I think Buckeyes, I think this is their time. They definitely, I think, have a shot at redemption here. I mean, they do have a shot at redemption, and I think that they're going to take advantage of it, and they're going to beat Loyola-Chicago in the first round by 3. It's going to be close. Once again, I could see either team winning this. We know how Loyola-Chicago has done in tournaments past. I mean, they were a pretty low seed, kind of around this area a few years ago, and they made it to the Final Four, so you never know. But probably I'm going to go Ohio State 55%, over under 132.5. I'm going to take the over for this game and Ohio State to cover. Obviously, the spread is even right now, so I mean, yeah, that's as close as it gets. But that's it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this game, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.